Hello, boys and girls. Your remote math for Monday and Tuesday, depending on which day you're home, is coming out of your Number Corner book. You're going to be doing pages 16 and 17 in your student book for Number Corner. You should have that at home. That's your responsibility to make sure that book stays with you at home. If you don't have that book with you, you can print up a copy of the page of page 16 and 17. If you don't have a printer, you're going to get a piece of paper and a pencil because you're still going to have to do the problems, and you're going to have to do the problems. You're going to have to read them off of this video. We're going to look at each problem. I'm going to do the three reads with them, or at least partially through the three reads, and I may be giving you some tips on how you might solve them or things you might look for. So it's important that you listen to this video. All right, let's take a look at the first problem. Here it is. The first problem says, Tanika's third grade class is going on a field trip to the Science Museum. Help Tanika answer the following questions. For each question, be sure to show your thinking using pictures, numbers, or words. Of course, you can use pictures, numbers, and words if you want to, if that helps you. So let's go ahead and take a look at this problem. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slide down and we're going to read the problem itself. So this is our first read. And our first read, remember, we're reading without focusing on the numbers. Oops, you can't see that. We're reading without focusing on the numbers. We're reading right now just focusing on the big idea. Tickets to the museum cost $7 each. There are 8 students in Tanika's group. How much does it cost for Tanika's group to go to the Science Museum? Well, I know that the gist of this problem, and you're probably thinking the same thing, the gist of the problem is Tanika's friends are going to the Science Museum. All of her group is going, and they've all got to get in, and all of them have to pay for their tickets, or at least they have to figure out how much their tickets cost. Well, we've done our first read. Let's take a look at our second read of this problem. Our second read, remember, is asking us to look for understanding, to read a little bit closer. And this time we're going to look at quantities. Remember, quantities are numbers. And if you watch my other videos, you'll know that quantities are numbers, and sometimes those numbers are represented as words. They may be unknowns we have to figure out. So let's look at it again. Tickets to the Science Museum cost $7 each. There are 8 students in Tanika's group. How much does it cost for Tanika's group to go to the Science Museum? Well, I see 2 numbers written as numbers. I see $7 each, and I see 8 students. I'm pretty sure there's an unknown there. I think that unknown is how much does it cost for Tanika's group to get into the Science Museum? And how much does it cost to get into as a group? That means her entire group. All right, let's take a look at our third read. I'm running out of room here. Let's take a look at our third read. Our third read, we're going to want to read this problem and ask ourselves, what is the question that's being asked? Well, the question is given to us. It's not an unknown this time. It's given to us. How much will it cost for her whole group to go? Now, I know how much it costs per ticket. I know how many people are in her group. I need to figure out how much is it going to cost for all of them to go. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the problem. Let me move my 3 reads pieces of paper. All right. Part A of the problem is asking us, what is the problem asking you to figure out? Well, we just talked about that. That was our third read. It's asking us to figure out how much is it going to cost your group to go. Here it's asking you to underline that important information in the problem. We already talked about that. I didn't do it when I was doing the third reads, but I bet you were thinking that you should have been doing it. Let's look at part B. Write an equation that represents the problem. Write your equation with a letter that stands for the unknown. Well, we already talked about the unknown here. So you should have an idea what that unknown is. Think through in your head, what do I know? What information do I have? What do I need to find out? And then we have part C, solve the problem. So they're asking you to understand what it's asking and underline the parts. You should have done that as we did the 3 reads. To then write an equation that represents it. There may be more than one equation that represents this problem. Solve the problem. And I'm going to say here what I say to my students all the time. Solve it with 2 different strategies. Because if you solve it once and you get it wrong, you might not catch your mistake. If you solve it twice and you have different numbers, at least one of them is wrong. So go back and solve it 2 different ways. All right. Take a moment. Try this problem.